I'm Tamara.
And I'm Rell.
And this is Fearful Friends Podcast. Hello.
Hello. Welcome. It feels weird to be introducing ourselves when we've just been sitting here talking for the last hour.
So you, what did you throw out your back or your sciatic? What happened?
I'm having a sciatic flare-up.
Okay.
I'm actually on the mend.
Good.
Because it happened Monday, about half an hour into my shift at work.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I just picked up a box of kombucha and there it went. And the worst part is I was breaking down the truck with the deli manager and she was training someone new and it was her first day. So she's just showing this lady where everything goes in my cooler. I pick up the fucking first box, throw my back out, and she's just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, no. And I immediately ran into the freezer and threw myself onto a fucking pallet of ice.
Oh man.
And it was so bad. I was just bawling my eyes out. I couldn't figure out what to do. I'm just pacing the freezer, limping
That doesn't
around.
make it any better.
It didn't make it better. Normally I ice myself once I have a fresh injury, but this was not helping. And then I would be like, "You're fine. You're just being a baby. Get back at it, you know?" And then I would just walk into my cooler and I'd be like, just,
Did you know
hand
it
me
was
stuff.
your sciatic then? Or did you just, I'm hurt. Something
I know, I always have sciatic issues, ever since that car accident when we fucking worked at Winn-Dixie a bajillion years ago. But I've only ever had one really, really bad flare up, and it was a couple years back around Thanksgiving. This was 100 times worse than that. And yeah, I'm just in there crying. And this poor new lady, she's just what the fuck is going on? And I'm just hand me boxes. I can't bend, but I can at least carry it to where it needs to go. And so I decided to leave. And then the next day there was the deli manager was training the new lady and they were in the back room and there was some drama with the grocery department and they were just fighting and one of them was accusing the other one of touching him and just, I don't know what the fuck was it's this one guy and he's just always starting problems. Actually, I might have brought him up on the show before. He's the one that accused someone of sexually assaulting him when he was trying to give him a hug.
He was mentally handicapped. The guy trying to give him a hug.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. That guy. Some reason he still works at our store and he's starting this big old fight in our whole grocery department. I mean, pointing fingers at everybody. He's bullying me. She's a bitch. Blah, blah, blah. Just going off. Jeez. And this fucking new lady is just I made a mistake applying here. All of this horrible stuff has been happening at the store all week. And she's just happens to be where all the shit's going down every time. She's not going to make it. If she hasn't quit by now, I'd be surprised. But yeah, I should be going back tomorrow.
Good.
It's been really fun. The first 3 days I just spent on my couch just fucking sobbing because when I would normally get my flare-ups it would just be that shooting pain down your leg, the electrical feeling. Mm-hmm. And it was tolerable, it was annoying as fuck and it hurt, but I could still walk. I could not fucking move. It felt the bone in my left leg was fracturing at every point in my leg. And every day it would get further down. And even today, my foot's still numb.
Oh God.
But my ankle bone feels like it's broken. And but I can touch it and it's not tender or anything. But then I go to stand on it and it's just hey bitch, lay down. But I can move around. I can pick up my dogs now. We're on the mend. Jeez. Anyways. Oh, how was your trip? I've been waiting this whole time for you to fucking tell me about it.
It was good. Speaking of edibles, recreational weed is legal there. I went through a drive-through dispensary.
Wow.
It was so fun.
What, how was it? Did they have a menu like McDonald's does?
They did, but I ordered
the purple icky sticky number 7 combo.
I ordered it online. It's so expensive though.
Like how much?
I spent $40 on 10 gummies and 1 chocolate bar.
That sounds about right. When I got my stuff, it was was like 20, I think it was 27 for the chocolate bar, and it was 20 for the gummies. Yeah. So, but that's good because you at least don't have the added expense of paying for like the medical card and shit.
Yeah. So
Was it good?
Yeah, I had to figure out how to sneak it in my checked bag to get home
because they have like drug dogs at the airport. And
everything's fine. I got like 3 other like different like larger chocolate bars, and I put that chocolate bar in like one of the other packages. So if they were like scanning it, it would be like a thing of different chocolate bars. And then I put the gummies in with like gummy sharks, gummy Skittles, and like these other gummies. Wouldn't it be funny Swedish
if your daughter
fish.
found that bag and was just like grabbing handfuls?
I was very careful with it, just so that it was just like a mixture of like candy, you know. It wasn't suspicious. I don't know. I tried to.
It sounds kind of suspicious to me. That sounds exactly what drug traffickers do.
Probably.
I mean, like, did you hear the sheriff's office pulled over a car that had like a whole bunch of birthday gifts in the back seat, but like their drug dog was alerting that there were drugs in there, and they pulled out like 20,000 fentanyl pills. And I'm like, that's what a trafficker does. We can't open these. You're going to ruin the nice wrapping. It's a lie. There's always drugs.
And, I was giving my son fentanyl pills for his birthday. I feel like they didn't really care about my 200 milligrams of edibles.
Yeah, that's a felony.
It is. It's federal.
And you flew with it, you fucking crazy bitch.
I checked it. I tried to put it in my mom's suitcase. She's like, I'm not checking this.
Did you really? You could have put it in your daughter's suitcase. They're not going to arrest a baby.
They would still probably arrest me.
Yeah, and you'd probably get tacked on like negligence.
Endangerment of a minor. But if I put it in my mom's, they'd be like, yes, she probably needs it.
Just an old hippie. Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so that was the exciting part of my trip.
That's it?
No, it was nice.
I went to a dispensary.
We had to go there to help my mom, like, get my uncle more packed up because he lives here now instead of Arizona.
You had to go to the dispensary to get them?
No, I had to go to Arizona. That was the whole reason for the trip.
Right.
And then we also did go to the Grand Canyon, which was like a 1.5-day trip.
I know you used our business email to book the ticket for that excursion.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a business we make $0 from, but I'm like, wow, there she goes. She's on the move. Sometimes I know what you're eating for dinner. Last week, she ordered a pizza on the account, and I was like, she gonna be eating pizza, a fucking nasty 16-inch cheese pizza, delivery between 8:14 and 8:15.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
Who just orders cheese pizza? Grow up.
I have a kid.
Tell her to eat some fucking pepperoni and deal with it.
Pepperoni costs more.
Cheese pizza's gross and it's a waste of money.
No, it's not. It's delicious.
Anyways, she went to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. It was great. Went to Phoenix. Oh, the coolest fucking thing ever, though, was driving back from the Grand Canyon. We went to Sedona.
Is that where all the psychics are?
Yeah. And where
Nikki
Nikki
Wasselishin lives.
Yes. Well, I think she lives in Phoenix now.
Oh.
Sarah Turney also lives in Phoenix, I think. That whole, like, Yavapai County area is just so much true crime stuff has happened there. It's like crazy. Like, I think there was this like whole big like missing Jane Doe thing where like this guy was taking women out in like, I don't know, like I want to say the 70s, taking them out to like shoot model pictures, like hiring them to be models and taking them out to the desert and like killing them. And that, yeah, just all like that.
Rodney
I mean, there
Alcala, was the dating game killer.
Why does it?
I don't think he committed any crimes
California.
in Arizona. No, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it sounds like him.
Yeah.
You know, because he did take girls out to the desert.
He did, yeah. Is that what I'm getting confused with? I'm going to stop. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Anyway, like right north of Sedona is, what's it called? Damn it. Oak Creek Trail, I think. And
sounds spooky.
basically you're driving through a mountain and there's like these cabin resorts and there's like this stream, the Oak Creek that runs through it, and it's so fucking beautiful. I felt like I was up in like the Northwest or something, like up in like Washington,
like Portland.
Yeah, it was. And like you go from like desert to like forest in Arizona like very quickly. And
that would be nice.
It was so beautiful driving through there. Honestly, I wish I could have gone there on like my honeymoon or something. And then Sedona's like 8 miles. I know. I just didn't know that it was a thing.
Oh. And
then Sedona's like 8 miles more south, like the downtown area, which is really, really touristy, but also really pretty because it's like right in it's in this valley of these mountains. And then like when you drive a little bit further through the town, then you start seeing like the red rocks and like the huge rock formations where all the like vortexes are. It's a really, really cool place.
That sounds kind of cool.
Like the downtown area is very, very touristy, but it was so
10 out of 10
cool.
would recommend.
Oh yeah, I would love to go back there. I would rent a cabin and like, and they're like swimming in it, and they have like this one hike, and they were all like properties that were like homesteaded back when like they did like the gold rush, and like if you go live out there, you can have it.
What does that mean?
It's like where they homesteaded. Like
if you can live out there, you can have it.
Yeah, go claim it. No one lives there. You know, fuck the natives.
And you don't have to pay.
Right? No.
Wow. Oh wait, are we talking about back then?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant now.
No.
Like I'll go. That sounds like a dream.
Yeah, it was so beautiful, but I will say I had a fucking horrible migraine from like the moment we were in Oak Creek till like we left Sedona.
Do you think it was like allergies or something?
I was on a bus. I highly doubt that. But it was just like as soon as I got there, my head started hurting so bad.
I'm sorry.
It was weird. It was just, and then as soon as
maybe it was like altitude.
Probably because we were up and down and up and down.
Yeah, and we're like below sea level here in Florida.
Yeah,
that's actually probably what it was.
Probably.
Plus the planes and everything.
And I took like 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. Did not go away. And we like stopped in Sedona and had lunch. And we drove through Flagstaff. We only stopped at like a gas station. But Flagstaff seemed very pretty. It was like right in the middle of like that, like the mountainy area and the desert area. Mm-hmm. So it was really pretty.
I'd be down for the mountain area. I knew there were like mountains there. I guess I didn't realize like that they were like actually like foresty mountains.
Me either. I was thinking of like
desert, like the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I was thinking it would be all like the mountains in like South California where it's like just like the, you know,
fucking rocks.
The Golden Hills. Because it's just not like greenery. It's just a fucking mountain. But
that sounds awesome. Now I kind of want to go.
Yeah. Arizona's beautiful.
But scorpions. We just
I saw one little teeny tiny
Tamara.
scorpion.
Ah! So after talking with several people, they all said scorpions aren't in Florida, which comforted me. So yesterday was that one coworker's last day, the one who told me about fucking scorpions in Florida. And I was like, hey, joke's on you. Everyone around me says that there's no scorpions in Florida. And he Googled it, and there are 3 scorpions in Florida. Yeah. 3 species.
But I just don't think it's anywhere where we are.
I don't know.
Neither.
Yeah, because they seem like they would like the dry. Mm-hmm. Like, a scorpion in water is just a lobster. Right? It's like the same thing. Little pinchers, stupid little tail.
I thought there would be like a lot of lizards there.
Yeah.
I only saw 2 lizards.
Or like those weird like dinosaur looking things with the weird like like Jurassic Park.
I only saw 2 lizards, and we drove through like desert, and we stopped at like rest stops, and there's signs for like
maybe it was like too dry, and even they're just like, we need water.
There's signs in a lot of places for like poisonous snakes, lizards, and bugs.
I don't like that. The fact that you have to put that sign out is very scary.
But I didn't see anything. I also did not.
Did you want to
go hike? I like lizards. I'm not going to touch them, but I would have liked to see like.
Go to a zoo.
It's too hot. I'm not going to go to a zoo.
You were just walking around the canyons.
Yeah, it was nice there.
What was the weather like?
Perfect. Like in the 70s, it's perfect time to go to the Grand Canyon. Honestly, it was so beautiful. And when I went last time, it was January, and I'm sure I've talked about this already, but it was during a government shutdown in 2019. And it was like the middle of winter. So there was ice on the sidewalk, and we were on the western rim where they don't have a hand thing.
A handrail.
Yeah, or like a protective thing over
A
all of it, a
guardrail.
guardrail. So I'm on this like slippery ice next to a fucking canyon. It was so scary.
That seems really dangerous.
And I didn't know. I was just wearing like tennis shoes, so it's not like I'm like wearing hiking boots or something.
They need to put on the little travel brochure, must wear non-slips.
Or like
We will be checking the tread.
normally it would have been taken care of. The ice would have been removed, but because of the government shutdown, they weren't taking care of the national parks.
Wait,
So,
that counts too?
yeah,
Wow. Is that like a forced vacation for everybody that works there? Or
I have no idea.
I wonder if they get paid for that. I could be a park ranger.
I would love to be a park ranger
love
there.
to be a park ranger.
But part of the year, not the full, because it gets really hot there, like 115 degrees.
But it's a dry heat, right?
I don't care what kind of heat it is.
You can cook a chicken at 115 degrees.
Don't eat it. But
It'll
you can
never go
cook it.
above 115 degrees.
But like they have a town there where like all the workers work. They live there, and it has like all of the stuff a town would have, but it's like the employees live there, and they have like really low rent, like super low rent because they have to live there.
Subsidized by the company.
It is. It's like they get paid less per hour, but they're provided with really low rent.
Everything.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that would be so cool to live there.
I wonder how their grocery store is.
They had like, it wasn't a huge grocery store. They had like a pharmacy type grocery store. Like I want to say like a CVS or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then they had like a small town grocery store. It wasn't like a name brand. It was just like
I wonder if
groceries.
Amazon goes out there.
No.
What? How do you get the things that you can't find at the grocery store?
I know. That is honestly what would keep me from moving to like a deserted place. Because you have to drive for like...
There's got to be a way Amazon can get there.
It's like really far away. You have to drive for like an hour of like nothing. Like you get off the highway to like go to the Grand Canyon, and then you just drive on this straight road for an hour that's just nothing. And you're basically like driving through the forest, and then you kind of see some like ranchers that have like, you know, like horses and cattle and stuff. Like every once in a while you'll see that, and then you'll just see like some signs for the Grand Canyon, and like yeah, then you drive through that little town. It's very far and isolated. But that's what would keep me from living in like a super rural, like away from everyone. Yeah. Cause
plus like, how do you fuck? Like you just know everybody there.
Oh, I was so confused.
Sorry. No, well, like, what if, like, okay, you're single, you're on the prowl, but there's, like, nobody there. Like, they're either already hooked up, or they're straight up huggos.
I'm pretty sure it's like, you know, when we worked together, like everyone was together with someone, and then it just kind of like moved around. I'm sure it's very
Are you
similar.
talking about me? Because I was going through a thing, Tamara.
It wasn't. God. I was talking about everyone.
And we were gifted with very attractive coworkers. Okay? All of them. Well, almost all of them. Well, like half of them.
Okay.
What? I met my husband there. We are talking about Winn-Dixie, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, that was a small little population, and everyone figured it. But I was so confused when
we were all attractive.
You're like, how would you fuck? I'm like, the altitude doesn't mess with things. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
When a man likes a woman very much.
But the story I've been saving.
Oh, yeah. That she wouldn't fucking tell me.
So I was on my way home from Arizona, and we had a layover in Texas. And Texas is like a huge layover airport. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there, and I see a bald guy in a hat.
Bruce Willis.
No, but I'm like, I don't think it's him. And we're sitting in the terminal at our gate, and there's like an hour before the plane takes off. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, oh, that other person over there, I'm like, that couldn't be. Oh my God. It is my arch fucking nemesis.
The guy from that brewery?
Yup.
Are you serious?
All three of the brothers and the one bald guy with the hat are all there. And I'm like,
I'm going to look at their Instagram to see
what
they were doing in Arizona. Because they were probably helping another brewery.
They were at a convention because I saw the bags they were holding. But they weren't in Arizona. I saw them in Texas.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm like.
Nothing on their stories.
I'm like, surely I will not get sat next to them. Surely they're going to put themselves in first class and I'm all the way in the back. I had literally the second to last row. And I'm like, there's no possible way. And it's like the one guy who I fucking hate who like went off at me. I would spit in his face if he got close to me. Honestly. If he recognized me.
Well, he probably wouldn't. You're just a peon.
And then the two other brothers who I don't really talk to, but the one has the same fan that I have. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy who just works there, he comes in to my bank like every day to get change. So I'm like, surely I'll just hide in this terminal and then it's not going to be a fucking issue. So I'm in boarding group 9, which is the last group to board. And I'm walking back there through the plane and I'm like, I still don't see these. And I'm getting further and further back. I'm like, I don't see them. Oh my God, I don't see them. And I look up to my seat and the guy with the hat who I'm okay with, I see him like every day. It's me and M and him in an aisle. I'm like,
are you kidding?
I'm like,
what are the fucking odds? An airport in Texas and right next to each other on the plane. I know. Did he recognize you?
God, yeah, because I see him so much. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what a small world. I definitely did not see you.
Definitely was not trying to hide from you. My first question, what are you doing at Coach? Shouldn't you be like up there or something?
Did they switch your first class too? It's so horrible. But I didn't even look. So I'm on, the one side with me and him and Emily. We're in the 3 seats. And then across the aisle, the 3 brothers. Mm-hmm. I didn't even look at them. I couldn't even, because I swear to God, if I see that fuck face, I'm going to have a real problem. Like, I remember one time I was walking past their brewery with M. And I don't know why she said, she didn't realize it was a brewery. She thought it was just like a place to eat. And she's like, can we go in there? And I was like, no, those owners are so rude and nasty. Like, I will not drop it, okay? You went off on me one fucking time. And then you accused me of fucking lying. He's such a fucking jerk.
So I guess we're never going there together, huh?
No.
That could be our closest meetup spot.
No.
I mean, I don't really want to go there, but
if
I really
had to
hate
see
where you work.
If I had to see that fucking dude and like I was not at work and he was like in my face, like face to face, I would have to be mean to him.
Okay. If you did run into him out in the real world, you're off the clock. You're not wearing your uniform or name tag or whatever. Could you go off on him and like not lose your job?
I'm going to have to say something to him. Like,
but
obviously months and months.
Like if he complained that their employee accosted him outside in the parking lot somewhere.
Yeah, just fucking deny it. What, are he going to prove it?
Yeah, there's security cameras everywhere.
But like,
we are always being filmed.
Like, okay, if he would have been the person in the seat next to me in the airport instead of the guy that I have to deal with every day, like, I don't know what I would have done, but I would have said something. I would have told him I'm not going to sit next to you and maybe asked him to switch with his brother or the other dude. Or my mom and my uncle were on the flight. I would have asked them to switch seats with me. I would have been honest with him. He bothers me so fucking much.
Yeah, that is funny though. Damn, I should have shown Matt that. Actually, I did show Matt that picture. He didn't even recognize the guy.
That's
very blurry.
That's the only reason why I sent it to you. And now we're going to have to pause this because I took a video. I'm going to have to send it to you.
Unpause.
So I just showed Rell the video I took of them next to me on the fucking plane. What are the fucking odds? The people I hate most in this world, I just see in a random fucking terminal and I end up sitting next to them on the plane. I have the worst luck. God thinks it's funny. It's fine.
I think it's funny.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you. On my first flight, like, so from Arizona to Texas, I was getting on, and when the person in front of us in the aisle seat, so like I had to get past him to get to the window and middle seat where me and Em were sitting, had already reclined his chair. And I walk up,
What a dick.
and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get in here, like very loudly. And I was like, geez, I can't squeeze in here. And so he doesn't move. Nothing. He doesn't have
Because you were
headphones
being
in.
passive aggressive.
He
You
doesn't
need to tap him on the shoulder and
here's
say,
passive aggressive.
"Hey."
I accidentally elbowed him in the back of the head.
Well, he didn't fucking move.
And I was laughing internally, like I was trying so hard not to
What
laugh.
fucking prick reclines his chair while people are still walking around the plane? He deserved it. Did he say anything?
I couldn't even apologize because I was trying so hard not to fucking laugh.
I would have apologized. Sorry you didn't move your chair up when I asked you to.
But yeah, I mean, that's what he deserves. It was totally on accident, but that's what happens. I couldn't get into my seat and I was kind of flailing.
Flailing.
Oh my God.
Well, that sounds fun. I'm glad you had a good trip. Okay. Are you ready for my story?
I am ready.
Cool. For today's story, I wrote song lyrics that I was going to sing, but now it just seems cheesy.
No, now you have to say them.
We're shipping off to Boston.
Okay. Thank you.
You're supposed to say, whoa.
I don't know that song.
Everybody knows that song. It's in like every fucking movie ever. And then the rest of the lyrics go, shipping off to Boston to find my molasses. No? Okay.
No.
Well, in case that wasn't clear, which it's obviously not, I'm going to tell you about the Great Molasses Flood of 1919.
Yes. Okay.
Also known as the Boston Molasses Disaster.
The molasses disaster.
Sorry. It's not funny people died. But also, it's kind of ridiculous. Onward and upwards.
Disaster.
First, let's take it back to 1915. The Purity Distilling Company, a subsidiary of the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, was a chemical firm that specialized in ethanol production through distillation. In other words, they made booze and industrial alcohol for the fine citizens of this country.
Okay. Thank you for
I
explaining that.
You're so welcome. I also looked into what industrial alcohol was because I was very confused. And like some stuff said it was rubbing alcohol. And then some stuff also said it was used to make like munitions and bombs, which is probably more likely because World War I and stuff.
Okay.
So after World War I, there was an increased need for industrial alcohol, and because of the high demand, the company slapped together a molasses tank as quickly as they could and began taking on regular shipments of molasses from the Caribbean.
Wait. They make the alcohol out of molasses.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like super, super sweet, and all alcohol is made from some kind of sugar. Don't quote me on that, actually, but I'm pretty sure.
It's fermented something.
Yes. And molasses, I think, is actually like the base for rum.
Sure.
Also, don't quote me on that.
I won't.
Yes, that sounds right, though. Like molasses from the Caribbean. Caribbean rum. Mm-hmm. Hello.
Look at her. She's
I
worldly.
know. Yeah, and they had like a whole bunch of distilling. And I guess the more you distill molasses, there's like different like levels of distillation. So like
The higher the alcohol content, the better quality, the more flammable.
or like the different things that they use it for.
Okay.
Also, don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Anyways, I didn't research molasses for my report on molasses.
Why would you?
I mean, I listened to one podcast about it, and it was just like so boring.
Wait, was it a podcast about molasses?
Well, like it was a podcast about this disaster,
Okay.
but they literally spent like 20 minutes talking about molasses, and I was just like, maybe this just isn't for me. They were just like, I mean, like going on and on and on, and then they did what I knew they were gonna do, and they made a slow as molasses joke, and I was like, I'm done. Okay, so they're taking on regular shipments of molasses from the Caribbean, which they then...
Wait, the Caribbean
Yeah.
or the Caribbean?
Does it matter?
Yeah.
To who?
Me. It's the Caribbean.
Just tell me which one you want and I'll say it because it doesn't fucking matter.
Caribbean. You can be Pirates of the Caribbean, but everything else is Caribbean.
What did I say originally?
Caribbean. It's Caribbean.
What do you want me to say? I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
They started taking on regular shipments of molasses from the Caribbean. Is that how you wanted me to say it?
I'm not really sure anymore because I said it too many times.
I just really don't think it matters. I think it's like tomato, tomato. But
if
also,
you say
who
tomato,
the fuck says tomato?
I'm gonna punch you.
Babe, can you just run over there in produce and get me a potato? A what? A potato. You know, a potato. Bitch, it's fucking potato. That's how that conversation would go, in case anybody wanted to know. Okay. So they use this molasses from the Caribbean to produce alcohol for, various uses, as we've discussed. The steel tank that the molasses was in stood 50 feet tall and 90 feet wide.
Holy.
It was a big bitch. It was a hulky big bitch. And I am stupid. This was the point where I realized I was stupid because it said 90 feet diameter. And I was just like, yeah, but how wide is the tank? Because I thought diameter was circumference.
Okay.
So then I had to Google what all that was. I was an A student in high school. I got so dumb. I don't know what happened.
It's all the
just
weed.
Years of boozing. Thanks a lot, molasses.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a big fucking tank, and it could hold about 2.5 million gallons of molasses if it was filled to capacity. It was built on Commercial Street in Boston's North End.
Okay.
In a busy neighborhood consisting of mainly Italian and Irish immigrant families. It didn't take long at all for locals to notice, though, the flaws in the tank's construction. Almost immediately after its very first fill, it began leaking. Kids would come by and fill up their little cups with molasses and take it home to their families.
Aww.
So after this, some of the residents tried to let the company know, hey, we can see your tanks are leaking. Can you fix it? Before something bad happens? And the company said, sure thing, boss. And they painted the tank brown so that you couldn't tell the tank was leaking anymore. If that ain't some landlord special shit, I don't know what it is. They said, got you covered. Unfortunately, that wasn't the only red flag that went unnoticed. Residents nearby said that they would often hear the tank groaning, and it happened so often and for so long that they just kind of got used to the clanking and rumbling coming from the massive tank. And it would always do it when it was full.
Is there a picture of this tank in this town? It's
I don't know if there's a picture of the tank before it went boom boom.
Oh my god. There is a picture of it. It's fucking huge. Holy shit. Okay. Continue. I needed a visual.
You always do.
I know.
I should just have a poster board of whatever story I'm doing that day. Here is this person right here. And I want one of those teacher sticks too.
You can get those at the dollar store and it's like a hand.
Stick. That would be perfect.
This is my science project.
This person slit this person's throat right here. Okay. Warning signs have been noted and ignored. Now, let's fast forward to January 15th, 1919. It was 40 degrees that morning, which was unusually warm for midwinter in Boston, especially considering the previous day's temps had been frigid. They were in the single digits. The streets were bustling with laborers and families just doing their thing and enjoying the nice weather. Around lunchtime, residents began to hear a low rumble and felt the ground shake, which at first they all assumed came from the nearby elevated train tracks, which you probably saw in that picture you just pulled up of the tank. Mm-hmm. They were right there. Soon after that, witnesses heard a huge crash, more groaning, and what sounded like a machine gun going off. They were quickly about to learn that this sound was actually the rivets on the tank being shot out, much like a machine gun, and the tank straight up exploded. Bam, bam, bam. Witnesses said that people nearby the tank were literally picked up and thrown from the explosion, and shrapnel from the tank was flying everywhere. It got fucking distance, as you probably also saw from the pictures. The force of the tank's collapse created a 2.3 million gallon wave of goop traveling up
million gallons.
2.3 million gallons. The tank wasn't even all the way full, but still it was that much. The wave got at its peak to about 25 feet high, but some witnesses say that it got up to 50 at one point, which I'm like, okay. Anyways, the wave was like 25 feet high, and it was traveling 35 miles an hour. It
Holy
was fucking
shit.
booking it. And at that point is when the other podcast made the, they say molasses is slow. And I was like, I quit. You will not get my business.
I mean, I did picture it to be slower.
I did too. But the one thing I did take away from that podcast were the massive amounts of facts of molasses. So when they transfer it from like the carrier from the Caribbean, now I can't fucking say that word. Thanks a lot. When they transfer it from that vessel to this new vessel, they have to heat it. So it was still like warmish in the tank.
Okay.
So yeah, it's booking it down busy Boston streets full of workers and children and, everyone that lived there. This thing completely leveled the area in like no time at all. It swept buildings right off their foundations. It overturned cars. It knocked that elevated train right off the fucking tracks. It flooded the entire neighborhood. Witnesses said the streets were flooded up to 2 or 3 feet deep for several blocks. And that's not even the worst of it. After the molasses was released from the tank, like sure, it was warm at first and it was able to like gain speed that way, but it was 40 degrees that day. So once it hit that cooler air, it started to harden, and that's when it started to trap people in it. Yeah.
I know I shouldn't be laughing. But
It's scary though. It's like
it's like
kind of okay, so like
who would have ever thought?
I know. No. You know me, right? Like
Yeah.
I can't do sticky stuff. So like this sounds like a fucking nightmare to me, and it kind of makes me want to like take sandpaper to my skin.
And like
And like
imagine
being
for like
trapped in it. Like you can't fucking move.
for like how long? Like it's always gonna be there.
Yes, you can never ever get rid of sticky shit. It's always there. Oh, and there was like one little boy who he like got caught in it, and it like went over him, and he ended up getting molasses in his lungs and shit, and he like couldn't breathe, and they actually threw him on the dead people pile because they thought he was dead, but he like came back. He just like had a whole bunch of molasses inside of him. I just glazed over that story.
Yeah, can you imagine if you were like under the molasses and then like you come up, but the molasses is still on you?
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about this. Okay. What a story for me to pick. What's wrong with me?
Shut it all off. She doesn't want to talk about
I
it.
quit. Okay, so here's a quote from the Boston Post. Do you want me to do an accent? A 1919 accent? How did people talk in 1919?
Whatever you do, don't do a Boston accent because I will hit you.
It's horrible.
My worst. I don't like Boston accents. I'm so sorry. Like I have a lot of family that like, lives in Boston and like Cape Cod. but, like,
Cod. That's all I got. Lobster. Okay.
It's most. Okay,
So
let's
rude.
move on. I don't like it.
First, I don't think they talked like that back then. Back then, everyone was like, we must get to Denny's for breakfast.
No,
No?
they had like the transatlantic accent.
What's that?
I'm really bad at accents.
Okay. I'm just going to say it normal then.
Okay.
Lame. Molasses, waist deep. So lame. Covered the street and swirled and bubbled about the wreckage. Here and there struggled a form. Whether it was animal or human being was impossible to tell. Only an upheaval, a thrashing about in the sticky mass, showed where any life was. Horses died like so many flies on sticky fly paper. The more they struggled, the deeper in the mess they were ensnared. Human beings, men and women, suffered likewise. I also just want to say, it's at this point I realized they didn't have cars.
Yes, they did.
Well, why were there so many horses around?
You just said cars were upturned.
Oh, I did. Why were there so many horses around?
I mean, it was still 1919 or something.
So, like, not everybody had a car, but, like, some people had a horse-drawn carriage still? Or maybe they just liked horses and they just let them commingle.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes me feel better. And they had sticky fly paper? Who knew? Who knew that was invented in 1919?
I don't think it was invented in 1919.
This right here says, horses died like so many flies on sticky fly paper.
But it wasn't invented in 1919. It was around in 1919.
I got nothing. Okay. Who invented the Post-it? Okay. Let's push on for the good of the pod.
Okay.
Or some would say for the good of the pod.
Ew, what? I don't like it. I'm so sorry. It's just an accent, but it's just...
So, commence the rescue operation. It begins. The first to make it to the scene to lend a hand were the 116 cadets from the USS Nantucket that was docked nearby. They ran several blocks right into the knee-deep muck and started pulling out whoever they came across. Shortly after, the Boston Police, the Red Cross, the Army, and the Navy showed up. There were so many injured that doctors had to set up a makeshift hospital in a nearby building. The rescuers gave it their all and worked for 4 days straight before they ended the search for survivors. By this point, anyone left in the molasses were so glazed over that they were barely recognizable, and some people that were still missing would be discovered over the next several months as they had been, as they had been washed away into the Boston Harbor by the initial wave.
I was going to say, like, isn't it right by the water?
Yes, it was waterfront. By the end of the search, 21 people would be found dead and 150 were injured. Now, how does one clean up millions of gallons of hardened molasses?
Fire.
That is actually a good idea. Oh, but it didn't work. Why not?
Because then you're going to burn everything down.
Oh, that's true. Seems like you could just like melt it away and then it would just go up in smoke, but I guess not. The answer is not easily. The molasses coated every single surface, making it almost impossible to clear the wreckage.
Listen, Dawn Power Wash, obviously.
Much like sticky notes, I don't know if they had that back then. If they only knew. But they did figure out something that worked, and now we are going to find out if we ever accidentally drop a bottle of molasses.
No, listen, you fight fire with fire. More molasses.
It's just how you make a molasses mountain. They initially tried spraying it away with water from fire hydrants, which is like, good try. They even had expert welders come out to use gas torches to expose the remains of the tank. And they worked on that shit for 2 whole days.
Expose the remains of the tank.
Yes. So like the shrapnels and everywhere, like bits of the tank.
Oh, okay.
They were trying to like cut down into it. And I'm assuming that the molasses was just like so thick every time that they would like shoot it with the torch, it would probably just congeal right back up.
Yeah.
At least until city workers finally found that they could use salt water to break it down. I guess it, like cuts through the sticky shit. I don't know.
Great idea.
I know. Genius. And then like once it was broken down to like a, more chill form, then sand would be used to absorb it. And then whatever was left would be sprayed into the harbor, which would then leave the harbor an icky shade of brown for months and months afterwards. So,
I can't believe that it was much prettier anyway.
That's what I was thinking too. It was like back when like nobody cared about what they were putting in the water. People would like dump their poo-poo in the water and
plus the tea, probably the tea and the molasses. Just what they needed.
I see what you did there.
Oh, I thought you were going to like punch me or something. No, we don't make those jokes. Low-hanging fruit.
Actually, it was fine.
Okay, thank you.
I was like, Boston tea. Like I said, Tamara, she dumb. I don't know what happened up here, but it's gone.
You're cute though, so.
Oh my God, thanks. The cleanup process was laborious and painstaking.
Stinking? It probably did stink.
It probably did. Ew. Also, the sweet smell of death mixed with the sweet smell of molasses.
Ugh.
Ew. That's disgusting. All right. Well, that's something to think about. Also, don't laugh at me. I put too much emphasis on laborious, not enough on staking. It was laborious and painstaking, and it would take about 6 months to put the area back together. But, as I said before, you can never really get rid of sticky shit 100%. And the residents said, on a hot summer day, the smell of molasses would waft out of basements for decades to come. I wonder if they still smell like that. So, what caused this blunder?
Stupid,
Stupid rich people is most likely the answer.
yeah, and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like engineering.
Yes, engineering failures. It is hard to narrow it down to one reason because there were so very many fuck-ups that went into this happening. The first and most obvious being what we've already discussed, the leaking from the tank from literally the day of its conception. It was poorly and hastily constructed right off the get-go. Investigations into the tank conducted by structural engineer Ronald Mayville in 2014 revealed that its steel walls were way too thin to support the weight of a full tank of molasses. And in fact, they probably needed to be twice as thick. And this probably would have happened a lot sooner. I mean, they got the tank in 1915. The tank didn't explode till 1919. And in that time, I guess they had only filled it to full capacity 9 times. It had been filled like 26 times altogether. Jeez. So I guess this last fill, it was a full fill, and it was too fucking much.
Did they estimate how much it weighed?
No, but I bet you could do some kind of math, like on Google. Like, don't ask me to do it.
Okay.
I'm still embarrassed from last week. That was fun editing that. I was just like, Rell, you can do it. You can do it. Do the math. So I'll just Google things from now on.
Okay.
How much does 2.3 million gallons of molasses weigh?
Siri.
Also, the rivet holes on the seams of the tank were another problem. This is where the leaking was actually happening. It was found that the stresses were way too high on the rivets, and this is where the cracks actually formed in the first place. The groaning noises the tank made were also completely ignored by basically everyone. All of these were deemed to be clear signs of negligence on the part of the structural engineers because they knew better, even in 1915, than to make these mistakes.
The tank was literally groaning for help.
Yes, from the very first fill. It said, too much.
Oh, no, help.
On top of all that, they didn't even test the tank before they filled it, before they said it was ready for use. Normally, they would fill the tank to capacity with water to see if there's any leakage. If they had done that, this probably wouldn't have happened. But they were in a rush because, you got to have that industrial alcohol to make your bombs and stuff. There's also evidence that a laborer actually brought shards of steel from the tank to the treasurer's office and was just like, hey, these fell off. To which the treasurer replied, I don't know what you want me to do. The tank still stands. Like, okay, throw it out then. One final design flaw of the tank that's worth bringing up is that the steel that it was made out of wasn't mixed with enough manganese. I am not a chemist. Manganese. I am not a chemist, but I Googled what's the word?
God, that was a horrible noise. The chemical...
Nope, I Googled the summary of what smart people would say. So basically, the metal would get brittle if it was exposed to temperatures below 59 degrees Fahrenheit. And as we know, 'twas a bit chilly up there in Boston that day. a brisk 40 degrees. So all of this, plus the pressure building within the tank due to fermentation, plus the temperature fluctuation, you have, it's 2 degrees in the beginning of the week. Then it warms up to 40 degrees. Then you also have the molasses that was being warmed before the fill, which I think brought it up to like 60 degrees, only to cool down. It was a fucking mess. It created the perfect recipe for a big, messy boom boom. After the cleanup was taken care of and things were settling down, it was time to start holding people accountable. So the tank's owners first tried to make people think that this tank exploded because of some anarchist plot to take down the city. Like, making it sound like fucking Bane from Batman. But as I mentioned, a lot of people already knew about the pre-existing problems with the tank, and 119 different lawsuits were filed by the victims against the United States Industrial Alcohol Company. Fuck yeah!
Fuck big molasses.
Mm-hmm. These were all eventually combined into one monster mamma jamma lawsuit that took 5 years to settle. After presenting over 1,500 pieces of evidence and 1,000 witness and survivor testimonies, it was finally ruled that the United States Alcohol Company was to blame and that they would have to pay about $628,000 in damages to the flood victims and their families. In today's money, that'd be over $8 million. So that's, not bad. Split between 119 lawsuits, I think. That's divided by 119. Each person, that's not enough for the loss of your loved one. It's just under $70,000.
Oh, God. No.
That's not enough.
That's not
enough.
No, it's like a year's salary. What's that going to help me if my fucking husband
died
and I don't work?
Yeah. Oof. Okay. Or your child. Ooh. Okay. Well, they won. This tragedy, ultimately, it did lead to better industry regulations, meaning that engineers now need to sign and seal their plans so that we know who to blame. Inspectors need to actually inspect things.
Okay.
And architects...
The way you just crossed your eyes.
Not even high anymore. I just can't fucking talk. And architects need to show their work like we all had to do in high school.
Okay.
Today, the place where the tank once stood is now known as Langone Park, and the concrete slab base. This gave me the heebs. The concrete slab base that the tank stood on still remains just 20 inches underneath the baseball diamond of the park. Ugh, I have chills now. Why is that so creepy to me? I don't like buried things.
Yeah, because it's big and it's underneath.
Yeah, and it was the cause of so much destruction. It's not the concrete slab's fault, but okay. I also have to tell you this other thing that blew my mind. Did you ever watch Expedition Unknown on the Discovery Channel?
Maybe. It sounds familiar.
Okay, he does this one. He does urban legends or conspiracies and stuff, and he tries to solve it or whatever. And he does this one episode on The Secret, and it's this book with all these different puzzles in them, and each puzzle leads you to a treasure box, a real actual treasure box. And as of yet, only 3 of the boxes have been claimed out of 10 or 12. And one of the boxes was found literally in this park.
Why was it there? Because of the whole thing that happened?
I don't know. And I was looking at the clues to the riddle, and it didn't mention anything about molasses, but
sticky situation.
But I was just damn, that's so cool. Yeah. What are the odds? This tragedy happens, and then they build this beautiful park, and then Josh Gates goes there and helps them dig up. I know it wasn't him that dug up the box, but he did film it because it was just in I think this was the one that it was just found in 2019.
Can you do another report on this whole book and the treasure?
I added it to my list.
Okay, thank you.
Because I forgot how much I loved that episode of Expedition Unknown. It's fucking fascinating. These clues are insane. I really want to buy the book because you can't read the book online or whatever. But it does show you like some of the clues.
What was the treasure inside?
So
The treasure was the journey.
no. There are 12 casks. Those are the little treasure boxes that need to be found.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that wrote the book and hid all the treasure, inside the cask is a key. The key is then taken to the book author, and then the book author will give you the treasure.
So it's not a treasure box you get to dig open?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You
All right.
dig open, you find the treasure box, it has a key. The key gets returned to the book's author. I'll go over this in the episode.
Okay.
The key gets returned to the book's author, and then the book author in turn gives you a jewel worth about $1,000. But the author was killed in 2005 in a car accident. But yeah, we will cover that in
So there's
another
not
episode.
actually a treasure in the
There
treasure
is.
box. It's one key.
It's a key that you can claim a treasure, and you get to be fucking world renowned, because what they do is
Doo-doo.
each of his clues are for a certain place. So like the ones that have been found are Chicago, Cleveland, and Boston so far. But there's ones, I think, from like out of the country and stuff. I think this is a worldwide hunt. I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll cover it in the episode.
Okay.
Anyways,
Well, sneak peek.
that might be like a little mini episode. Only
Yeah.
3 treasures have been found. So
How many?
out of 12. There's 3 out of 12. And like, you know, the more that we like dig things up and change, build storage units, you know.
I was going to say, like, people that don't know what it is could have found it and just been like,
Yeah, no, this is trash. Stupid key in a box. You found the secret! We may never know. That's all I got. That was the end of my story. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope y'all are staying dry out there. Not sticky. Only wet when you consent to being wet.
Okay. All right. That took
That look on your
a
face.
fucking turn.
She was smiling at first, and then it's like she thought about what I said and went, ugh.
All right, friends. I
Write
have a
us-
tummy ache.
write-
We're
write-
going to go.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's because I just fed her a bunch of Skittles. Write some stories to us. We have a couple, but we want to get a couple more, and then we can do a listener's tales episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be fun. We might
Yeah.
just have to get some fucking stories from Robin.
I've been asking her and my brother to email me a specific story. No.
All right, bye, friends. Ew, it's weird for me to say that, not you. Now you have to say it.
Bye, friends.